Hello, Marion. What's up, Gotham City? Up here setting up my live on Instagram. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we is live on Instagram and we is live on YouTube. What's going on with you guys? Happy Monday. We got some very sad news today, but I still want to say happy Monday to you guys. It's a blessing to see another week, to see another Monday, to live another day. Because life is so short. Life is so very short. We done lost two great people within like the last few weeks. Um, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. But I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Monday. How you doing? I've been so busy today, ripping and running errands. Um, and I was trying to decide what to talk about today, because I wanted to go live today. But I didn't feel like doing any reviews tonight on any shows. I've been going hard doing reviews. I'm like, I need a break. I need a break. So I figured, hey, maybe we can network and we can chop it up about John Singleton. I titled the live. Uh, yes, it's true. It's true, Gotham City. His family took him off of life support earlier this afternoon. He had been in a coma, for I think 4 days. So they finally took him off I don't, I don't know. Of course, we don't know like what exactly he was going through. We know he had a stroke. We know he was in a coma, but the doctors sometimes when they just be like, okay, it's absolutely nothing else we can do. You might want to tell all your family and friends to say goodbye and whoop whoop whoop. Some families they be like, no, I want to leave him on life support. They don't want to take him off life support and let him go. And in some situations, it's like, you know, they said he was at peace. He died surrounded by family and friends. Yes, it was a shocker. Yes. Fish scale 208, 2008 on yeah, that's Fish Scale 2008 on Instagram said, that's a shocker to me. I had no idea he was going through anything like that. Yep, some people didn't know. I just happened to when I'm working during the daytime from home, I always got the news playing between the hours of like 6 to about 11 a.m. So I be hearing the news, and I heard it like last week, and I was like, "What? John Singleton, a stroke?" It's like everybody. Oh my God! It's so many people who are passing away at a very young age. 51 is not old. 51 is not old at all. So we don't know the circumstances. They just know that he was, he was out of the country, and when he came back in the country, he started feeling ill, and he ended up having a stroke. So I don't know if we're going to get any more information about this. Like, did he just have a stroke because of heart systems or valves or arteries or brain or something like that, or was it something that I hope it wasn't something he contracted or when he was over out of the country. So we don't have a lot of details right now, just that he had a stroke. They announced that last week. Said he was in the hospital surrounded by loved ones. And then earlier today, they released the information that the family decided it was in the best interest of him after speaking to his doctors to take him off of life support. So, yep. Hey, Miriam on YouTube says she didn't know either. BDI Derek said, I can't believe it. Miriam, Gotham City. Yep, yep. Hey, Screw, what's up? What's going on? Yeah, it's a sad day for a lot of people. I mean, this man, just what he has achieved in his short span of life, like to be 51. I mean, he put out his first movie at the age of 23. Well, he started working on Boys in the Hood at 23. So I posted the live, like, where were you when you first saw Boys in the Hood? Like, where were you? Were you at home? Were you out of town? Were you on vacation? Were you in somebody's house and they had the bootleg? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was in somebody's house watching a bootleg. Why? Because I was too young to go to the movies. Because, you had to be like 17 or with a parent or something like that. And I was too young to go. So, hey, you know how you do. Sometimes you watch a movie the best way you know how. I don't even remember who had got the movie. I just know somebody had copped the movie. And we was all chilling and watching it. It was, man, that movie just, wow. It impacted a lot of people. That movie alone, Boys in the Hood, came out in 91. It came out in 1991. And I'm like, that movie was so awesome. Like, so awesome. For him to be as young as he was when he started working on that movie, just as talented as it was, just knew that he was going to be somebody great and that he was going to have a line of great productions behind him, behind his name. And he did. He did. And I was like, I kind of felt bad because when I was talking to my youngest son, he's 18. He graduates this year. Some of y'all probably heard me talk about him before, but he graduates this year. And I felt kind of bad because I'm up here like, John Singleton passed away, and he's like, and who's that? I'm like, what? I'm like, where did I go wrong? I'm like, where did I go wrong? And I'm like, Boys in the Hood. He was like, oh yeah, I know that movie. We watched that movie. We got the movie. I'm like, well, he knows like of the movies that he's done, like Poetic Justice and like Snow. I don't know how many of y'all watch Snow, but I was hooked on Snow the day that it first came out. So he knows about shows like that, and of course Empire and different things like that. But he just didn't like know of the man who did all these great movies and worked on all these great TV series, TV shows, and everything. But yeah, it was really sad, and I kind of like, I don't know, for some reason, I just kind of, when I heard about him having a stroke last week, I just, not to be like in a negative thought or anything, but I was just thinking like, man, is this it for him? I mean, he is just too young, and every time I hear about anybody being sick or, a friend, a family member, somebody on YouTube who I hardly even know, when I hear about people going through stuff, I automatically say a prayer for them, say a prayer for his family. So he was no different. His family was no different. So when I heard about it last week, I said a prayer for his family. But, when it comes to strokes and heart attacks and things like that, depending on how severe it was, depending on how long, if they were unconscious or if they were, it's just so sad. It's just so sad. But a lot of people can't believe it. They like, they just can't believe it. And I'm like, dang, this last few weeks has been, really, really, really trying for a lot of people. A lot of people were dealing with Nipsey Hussle. People still reeling from the fact of that. And then this, and John Singleton, I mean, he just didn't do movies and producing movies. I mean, he was like an activist, he did a lot. He did a lot. So I'm like, man, let me just go live and just you know, honor him for a moment tonight. That's what I wanted to do. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do any lives. I don't want to do any not lives, but do any reviews. I'll get back to the reviews tomorrow. I promise. I know I definitely want to do a review on the Housewives of Atlanta is finished. So now they have a TV show on Bravo, and it's about Portia and her baby, and it's called Portia's Having a Baby. And I think it's supposed to be like a month worth of TV shows, so like 4 episodes, something like that. And I think the first one came on last night, so I definitely want to do a review on that tomorrow night, but not tonight, not tonight. So if anybody wants to call in and talk about anything that this man has done, any of his movies, any way he might have affected you, his movies, his work, or anything like that, let me know, and I'll turn the phone lines on. I don't have the phone lines on right now because I didn't know if I was going to turn them on or not, depending if we were going to take calls tonight or not. But just for some of y'all who don't know everything that this man has done, just a brief description of him. And one thing I would like to acknowledge about him, the man, he did some movies that had violence in them, shooting, murder, drugs, gangs, stuff like that. But one thing about John Singleton, one of the things that he had mentioned, a while back, like 3 years ago, something like that, 2 or 3 years ago, he had mentioned one of the things that he did was he never wanted to make a film for the sake of violence. He once said this. He never wanted to make a film for the sake of violence. He always wanted to make sure there was an emotional attachment to the violence in his films. Like, we done seen, I don't know how many gang movies, how many hood movies, gangster movies. I mean, and some of them is just to be gangster and thug it and hood, and I mean, there's really no lesson in them or nothing like that. There's really no emotional attachment, to them. But movies like Boys in the Hood, how you got so attached to different characters, they taught a story. It might have affected somebody who had lived in the hood, somebody who grew up in the gangs, somebody who lost somebody from the gangs, family, friend, neighbor, whatever. His movies, you can like relate to them if you were, born in, the hood. If you grew up surrounded by the hood and the hood life. I mean, it was really relatable, and it like, how many people still get emotional over watching Boys in the Hood? I'm not even gonna lie, and I'd have probably seen this movie. Oh my God, let's see. I might exaggerate a little bit, but I probably saw it at least 100 times, and that's nothing because I done probably seen Friday probably 200 to 300 times. When Friday first came out, no lie, when Friday came out, everybody flocked to the theater to go see Friday. Everybody. But when the actual VHS, because that was before DVDs. So when the VHS tape had came out, and my roommate at the time, I was staying with my roommate, my god sister, and a friend, a female friend, and one of them had got the movie. I can't remember which one, but we would invite everybody over to watch that movie every time we was about to watch that movie. And when we watched that movie Friday, let me tell you, that movie was on, and it got rewound as soon as it ended. Then it got rewound again as soon as it ended. We would literally play the movie back to back to back to back, and it was always usually because somebody, like back in the day, it was weird. Like if you get a movie, like a VHS movie. If you got a movie, if you because a lot of people used to rent movies. They used to rent movies back in the day. And you would get it, and I think you would get it for like, I can't even remember, 3 days. Like, everybody remember Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, and we would rent the movie, and literally people would come out the woodworks. Oh, y'all got the Friday movie. Oh, y'all kicking it over there. Y'all playing cards, dominoes. We coming through. We bringing drinks, whatever. And like literally, like every day for I don't know how long, maybe like a couple of months. We watched Friday like every day. Like as soon as we got home from work, that movie was just so funny. It was like so funny, and it was like crazy because it was actually somebody in that movie. When you in the hood, when you raised in the hood, you from the hood. There's somebody in that movie that you can be like, oh, hey, we got a Felicia on our block. We got a Data. We got a Craig. We got a, we got the crazy old man. We got Pops living across the street, and the Jehovah Witnesses knocking on the door, and your mama cussing them out, and it was crazy. And so, and let's not forget seeing somebody running up in somebody's house after they man done left and went to work. So it's like you can actually relate to it, and you have some kind of emotional attachment to it. And just like John Singleton, when he was talking about, after he made Friday and after he made other movies and other worked on other TV shows, he said that, he said he didn't like just making violent films, just making violent movies. He always wanted to make something. If it was violence, it had to have an emotional attachment to it. Like, it had to be a meaning behind it. That movie touched a lot of people. Like, oh God, the characters in that movie. It was just like you can relate to all of. You can relate to the dope boy. I remember, where did I used to hang out a lot when I was younger? I think it was off of 24th Street, where I knew this guy who was handicapped. He wasn't in a wheelchair. He wasn't in a walker or nothing, like, on on Boys in the Hood. You got the dude with the wheelchair. And he was handicapped, but he was still out there like rolling on that wheelchair wherever there was drama. It didn't matter. Shoot, you can be in a wheelchair and still shoot a gun. So it it was like it didn't matter. He wasn't about to stay home with his wheelchair and watch all his homies out there doing whatever they had to do. And there was one of them. Everybody can relate to him. He might have been crippled. He had like a walking disability where he kind of like, I'm not gonna, not to be trying to make fun of nobody or nothing. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, he was a little slower than everybody. He couldn't run like everybody, but he was always out there. Whenever something went down, he was always out there and knew everything. And knew everything. So yeah, I really like that about him. And then Poetic Justice. Any movie with Pac in it, it didn't matter if the movie was good. It didn't matter if the movie was bad. I'm down to watch it. Poetic Justice was one of my other favorites that he had worked on. I think I like Boys in the Hood more, but Poetic Justice was like literally right behind that one. So Poetic Justice is one of his other big movies that he had worked on. And as far as like some of the other bigger movies that he had worked on, we have, let's see here. Higher Learning. I know a lot of y'all remember Higher Learning. Rosewood. But I did not find out about Rosewood till probably I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. And that's bad because when I watched the movie, I was like, what? I've been missing out. Like, so if y'all have never seen Rosewood, that came out in 97. and that one is like a historical fiction drama, and it's based on like historical events in the 1923 Rosewood Massacre in Florida. So it's kind of based off of real, real life series. So everything that happened in the movie didn't really happen in real life, but it's just based on some events that really happened in 1923. And it was like a mob of people who had killed black people. They destroyed their town. It was like a really productive town of black people. And I don't know if y'all remember, but a lot of these things they don't talk about in school. So a lot of our children have no idea about certain things. But there was like a really popular black area in Florida. And if you remember, a long time ago, they were really prosperous. They was doing well. They was doing very, very well. And then a mob of like racist white people, KKK, whatever, they had killed like a whole lot of the black people there, destroyed their town. And so, that movie is basically based on that, because a lot of the black people, they rose up in self-defense, to fight off the white people to, get their town back or whatever. But yeah, their town was like destroyed and everything. So that one has Don Cheadle in it. Some of y'all probably know Don Cheadle. He's played in, oh my God, Don Cheadle. He played in so many movies. But he did play in Rosewood. He's also been on a lot of TV shows. He played in Rwanda. Matter of fact, Rwanda, besides Rosewood, because I just saw that a few years back, but I think Rwanda was one of the first films that I actually really paid attention to Don Cheadle. I mean, he played in a lot of other movies I saw, like Ocean's 11, Traffic, Out of Sight. What's another one? Devil in a Blue Dress. But I really didn't pay that much attention to him till Rwanda. That's when I really saw how good of an actor that he was. So, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. If y'all haven't seen Rosewood, make sure y'all check that out. It's based on a real story of black people in Florida, having a town destroyed by a whole bunch of, white racist people and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's a good movie also by by him. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about him, like I said, and honor him a little bit, to talk about his work. I know after this, everybody, let me get a drink of water. That was good. But when you be talking and talking and talking, your throat gets dry. I'm sure y'all understand. But anyway, yeah, that's a good another good movie by him. But as far as like in the coming future, I'm sure he's gonna be recognized on a lot of award shows and different things like that. So, and he deserves all of the respect. All of the respect just for his works, just for things that he's done. I know, like, there has been some speculations on some things in his life, some accusations of certain things in the last few years. Um, I haven't really researched into a lot of that, so I'm really not going to speak on that. I'm really not going to speak on that. I'm just going to speak on what we received from him during his short time here on Earth. Starting with Boys in the Hood. These are just movies. Boys in the Hood in 91. Poetic Justice in 93. Higher Learning in 95. Rosewood in 97. These are all movies he directed. Shaft in 2000. Baby Boy. Baby Boy. How many baby boys do y'all know from when y'all grew up? Okay. Rosewood, I said that one. Too Fast, Too Furious, the 2003 one. Four Brothers, Abduction, Empire, the TV series that I do reviews on all the time. American Crime Story, Rebel. I love Rebel. I love Rebel. I don't know what happened to Rebel though. I think that got cut short. That got cut short. But I did like Rebel when it was on. Billions and Snowfall. That's just some of the movies that he directed or TV shows. Snowfall, That series is really good, and he didn't direct the whole, not all of. He did like a couple of episodes in there, but that's just a list of some of the work that he's done. Um, excuse me. So you guys, again, let's all acknowledge Mr. Singleton and all the good things that he brought to us in movie and production and directing. A lot of the, again, a lot of the things that he worked on, it really had an attachment to some people. Again, a lot of the shows that he worked on, um, like even Hustle and Flow. I mean, it's so much. Hustle and Flow. And that's one of my. I love that one too with Luda. We can't forget that one with Ludacris. But a lot of them, like I said, they had to have an attachment, to you. And a lot of the movies we learned a lot from. It affected us where we all like, okay, we know this person. We don't grew up with this person. We live next door to this person. I mean, a lot of the stuff was like real life stuff that was just replicated on the big screen. So I can appreciate that. I'm sure you guys can appreciate that. And all I want to say is rest in peace, rest in heaven, John Singleton. Um, Everybody, say a prayer for him, say a prayer for his family, say a prayer for, all his loved ones. And, think about him, just remember him. And if y'all want, because I'm thinking about this honestly, I was thinking about it as soon as I heard that he passed. I think I'm going to make sure I get, if you don't have all his movies, I think I'm going to make sure I get like a collection of all the things that he worked on, whether it was producing, directing, all the things that he worked on. I want to make sure I have a lot of it already. It might be a few pieces that I'm missing from his work, but I have a lot of it already. But yeah, let's represent, show him some love, even though he's already, he's gone, he's up in heaven. But anyway, y'all, one more time, rest in peace, rest in heaven. John Singleton, you will be dearly, 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 dearly missed. And in the meantime and in between time, Prime Time Squad, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.